Good morning, everybody. This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Just the other day, I believe it was on Monday, Hulk Hogan appeared on Good Morning America. They also reran the interview in a longer, non-clipped way later in the day, actually late night on Dateline, with basically Hulk Hogan going over everything about him, being fired from WWE for the racist remarks, him being scrubbed from the WWE website, and basically almost to the point of being removed from the WWE Hall of Fame. We've seen a lot of things go wrong with WWE performers over the past. Everybody knows about the Chris Benoit tragedy from a few years ago. Now we've got Hulk Hogan, one of the biggest stars of WWE, going through this whole thing in the dirt. And then just yesterday, the story breaks of Jimmy Snuka, actually being arrested, and he's going to trial for murder of his girlfriend from over 32 years ago. So it's a hard time for historic fans of WWE to be seeing what was going on. But during this interview, Hulk Hogan said that he would like another chance of working with WWE, saying that he was a changed man. People make mistakes, and this isn't the real Terry. He kept on referring to himself as that he's not Hulk Hogan, he's Terry. He's just a normal guy, and he wants a second chance because what the people heard or read on the transcript is not the guy that Hulk Hogan is on a normal everyday time. WWE heard this and basically released a statement. I'm not sure if they were asked flat out on what was going to be going on with Hulk Hogan in the future, or they just released this on their own. But the following statement was put out there regarding a possible working relationship with Hulk Hogan. It just said in one sentence, "At this time, the WWE remains steadfast in its decision." So there's not going to be a return of Hulk Hogan to WWE in the foreseeable future. Honestly, in my mind, I think there will come a day when they need Hulk Hogan either for a WWE documentary or they need him for the opening of the WWE Hall of Fame. Hulk Hogan is a part of WWE. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think WWE would be WWE if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. You can talk all about the genius of Vince McMahon, but if you don't have a star to put out there in front of the fans, they're not going to buy tickets, they're not going to watch television, they're not going to order pay-per-views, they're not going to watch your Saturday morning cartoons. And that's what Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan was a cartoon character of the 80s that, from WrestleMania 1 all the way until WrestleMania 9, Hulk Hogan was the WWF. He was the lunchbox guy. He was the cartoon guy. He was everything. He was the guy. They didn't put this guy on television unless it was an interview to pump up a big match. He was the guy you had to buy a ticket and go see at your local Coliseum or wait and watch him on pay-per-view, because that's how big of a deal this guy was. And because of the fact that he won every match that he was in pretty much, and that's the way everybody remembers him, he will always be the biggest wrestling star of all time. You can put up flashcards of everybody throughout the time: Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins. It doesn't matter. You put those up there in front of 100 people that say they're not wrestling fans, more people are going to know Hulk Hogan than anybody else that is on that list. You can talk about the bad movies that Hogan made over the years. You can talk about talking about the bad movies, and the sex tape popped in my mind. But you can talk about all the things that Hogan's done. But the way that Hogan knew it was time to leave Vince, he left WWF, and then he went to WCW, and when the timing was right, turned heel. The NWO, even though it was already starting to turn with all the talk about Hall and Nash, Hulk Hogan has put the NWO over the top, and him playing as a bad guy for the next 1 year to 2 years really shaped WCW and put them in the driver's seat, bringing in college fans that watched wrestling when they were younger, older fans that hadn't watched because they were such Hulk Hogan fans and they wanted to see Hulk now. But I think of him as being one of the biggest wrestling stars of all time. And I'm not saying that this is going to be solved tomorrow or in a month or 2 months or even 6 months, but somewhere down the road, I see WWE softening on this. I think people forgetting about this and moving on to the next sort of wrestling or even, celebrity mishap. And this is just sort of water under the bridge. WWE, and America as well, they love rebuilding celebrities and pushing them up to being bigger and better stars. Robert Downey Jr. went through his problems with drugs and alcohol back in the day, but the guy's been pumping out Iron Man movies. And it's not like anybody really looks at him and thinks of that guy of the past anymore. So who's to say what's going to happen with Hogan? But as of right now, Hulk Hogan's been shut down, and we're going to have to wait and see what's going up with him in the future.